So, happy new moon to all the tarot lovers out there. We have a 3-card reading, and this 3-card reading starts with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, followed by the King of Cups, and last of all, the reversed Ace of Spades. So we're going to start off looking at these 3 cards and see if we can't make some type of story that makes sense. And I think because this is the only major arcana card, and because it's also reversed, it doesn't make it the most important card, but it sets a scene for maybe what the deeper message of this new moon is about for us. And the wheel always speaks about change. It always speaks about growth, change, and movement. So I was just speaking to my community members just now, and every one of us seems to be in a semi-good place at the moment, and there was only a few of us out sharing, but we're all in a space where we do think we are heading in the right direction, or at least moving. Our lives are moving in a good and positive way. But so then we threw out the question of, okay, so if there was some way in our lives that we could relate to that our life is maybe not moving as flowing, or maybe we're not growing, or we're not achieving, or maybe we don't feel like there is positive, uplifting movement in our lives, what would that be? And we started the story there. And maybe for those of you who are looking at this reading, ask yourselves, okay, in what way is my life not moving? In what way is my growth not stimulating on all levels? So there's a story with this card that we might be a little bit inhibited as far as growth is concerned on one element, or maybe 2 elements. We might be really into some mental journeying, but spiritually there might be a block. We might be into feeling into our life and tapping into what our emotions are telling us. We might be all about action and going out there and doing, but there may not be the conscious growth about where our mind is, what we need to think about and what we are thinking about. The reversed Ace of Swords speaks a little bit about certain mental programs that are not aligned with the higher will of God, that we might be focusing on, thinking about, that may well be blocking our movement in some way, in a very specific way, in a very specific aspect of our lives. So when we find that there is something that's blocking us, or when we find that there is a fear of moving in the direction that we feel our life is moving, if our life doesn't feel like it's heading in the right direction, there's this saying that I was quoting before, that whenever there's movement, it's never wrong. You can't move in a wrong direction. You can move downwards. You can experience a negative turn of this wheel, but it's only our mind that calls it wrong. Life says, no, you need to go down. You need to experience something slow, you need to experience something heavy, you need to experience something deep, and you need to experience something that you may well call negative in order to come up from it, in order to keep things changing, in order to stimulate maybe your intention to learn and grow something new. We don't normally want to learn anything when we're sitting at the top of the wheel and our life is amazing and hunky-dory. We only choose to learn usually when the proverbial crap hits the fan and life isn't going so well. And in those moments, we'll get the books out, we'll look for some stimulus to how we can create some change, and we'll look for growth. And if we're looking for growth on some levels but not other levels, make sure we're looking for growth on all 4 conscious levels of ourselves: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Because the wheel turning and the balance turning of the wheel will depend upon growing on all levels. So that's one story. But this reading speaks specifically about how our minds are programmed, to judge ourselves, how our minds are programmed to judge the world around us, to judge what we may be doing, what we should be doing, and what we could be doing, and what we must be doing. Sometimes those beliefs are grounded in what you might call your deeper truth or your heart's truth, but a lot of the time they're not. They are grounded in a structure of beliefs that came from our inheritance, that came from our family line, that came from our society, and that are very good to keep society moving in a very similar way, but might not be good for us, might absolutely be completely wrong for who we are. And so this card is really encouraging us to ask, hey, are all those beliefs that you're holding on to that may be in your head valid reasons for you not creating change and you not jumping into the movement that you want to create in your life? Are those beliefs really yours? Do they come from a higher will, or would God, the divine, give you another set of beliefs to believe in that would actually help you go, oh, no, it's all good? And one of those things is, hey, when things are going bad or going wrong or seem to be heading in the wrong direction, hey, this is a bad thing, this is not good. And that's not the case. And I try to do this in my own life, sometimes successfully, sometimes not successfully. But when things don't seem to work out, instead of jumping to the, oh God, it's not worked out, oh life, what a bugger, oh what a bummer, and causing my own emotional state of mind to get lower in vibration, I'll try and say, hey, well, this didn't work out for a reason. Let's see. Now I've got to do it all over again. Oh dear. But maybe there's a reason. There always is a reason. It might be something very simple and superficial, or it might be something profoundly deep. But if you keep your mind open and your emotions clear about how you want to feel, and this ability to actually love the experience, even though, well, I just spent 20 minutes doing this and I lost it all. So yes, you could rant and rave, and we've all rant and raved, and beat something up, or you could accept that, oh, maybe it needs to be done again for a different reason, or maybe I don't need to do it at all. And you might find that might be the case. Maybe there are 1,000 different reasons, but if you keep your vibration high, your feelings high in that moment, then you're likely to tune into the real reason why things didn't seem to go as you had planned them to go, or why life seems to be heading downhill instead of uphill. And you may actually be able to feel appreciative or feel gratitude towards changes that might on the surface not seem to be heading in the direction that you want them to. Whereas in the bigger picture, it's perfect. Life is always perfect. So when something doesn't work out, It's not that you did something wrong. It's not that you're wrong. It's not that somebody else is wrong. It's that that was the experience you needed to have. Now, are you able to hold your vibration clear? Are you able to hold space for feeling a little bit disappointed, feeling a little bit sad, feeling maybe grieving for a moment, and then moving on, and then choosing how you feel? Are you able to do that? Are you able to be that king in your life that is very conscious, not so much about giving importance to the thoughts, to the ideas that you have, but very much to the deeper feelings, your sensitivities and your desires and your needs? Because we have this fundamental need to love and enjoy life. I would say that's pretty collective. It's pretty universal. This king will remind you about that when you are holding on to ideas that cause you to maybe head in the wrong direction. And heading in the wrong direction is not the wrong direction or not the wrong action if it becomes a valid lesson for you, if it becomes an opportunity to correct the way you think about life. This king is going to be that part of you that holds space for your pain, doesn't ignore it, doesn't wash it away, or doesn't boost it up and give it, dramatic importance. He'll just say, feel it, experience it, and let's move on. Let's see if there's any depth there, and if there's some pain there, what are we being asked to experience pain for? And there'll be a beauty with the acceptance, and this king accepts every feeling. It's not like that we get it, that he'll get angry and he'll reject that anger because it's not, it doesn't relate to his level of maturity. No, he's not going to judge that. He'll say, feel the anger, feel why it came up, feel why it was there. Allow it to be inside of you. What do you want again? Oh, yeah. I want to enjoy and love life. So how do you do that? Well, you'll have to accept that anger, and you'll have to accept the situation that caused that anger, and you'll have to love the next step that you take, whatever that looks like, because that will be him helping us shift our maybe more conditioned way of thinking, and to be able to be open to accept a new way of thinking or a new belief system that tells us it's all perfect. And that truth coming from the Ace of Swords is a tough one to swallow. In the perception of, the higher will, everything that goes wrong, everything that's disastrous in this world is perfect. That's a tough one to buy into when we are emotionally conditioned and mentally conditioned to think that it's not. When these beliefs comes up in our lives, they are going to be fundamental obstacles to creating continuous and constant positive growth and movement. And when we give more importance to a belief that might be rejecting part of a downward swing, so when this card is reversed, what's up is down and what's down is up, and it's a little bit important for us to learn that lesson. There is something good about going down, and there is something dodgy about going up, even though we'll love to go up and we'll fight against going down. I always would try to tell people, are you putting the brakes on when shit's hitting the fan, Because if you are, it's going to take longer to get to the bottom. And if it takes longer, well, that's going to be more painful. If you accept that journey down, you get to the bottom 10 times faster and you start heading back up again 10 times faster. Why? Because it's a mental and emotional shift that creates the upward swing. It's this ability to transform density into levity. Not through denial or rejection, but through acceptance and choice. And, putting it into practice is always what it's all about. If you want me to help you, you can contact me and maybe I can help you in some way. But otherwise, look to yourself to create consistent and constant change and growth in your life, because it's always happening, whether you like it or not, whether you're thinking about it or not. It's always happening. There's no stagnancy in this life, even though we might appear to be in moments of those from time to time. Everything's always in movement. So bring on the more conscious version of that movement, and have a wonderful new moon. Much love to all.